Hello everyone, it's Silvia from Parcel Tarot. Welcome to my channel. Today, you probably noticed that my voice betrays that I'm sick. So it's been a couple of really interesting, let's put it this way, really interesting days. Because of a national strike in all of the airports in Italy, we are stuck in Paris. Obviously, it's not a bad thing. As you know, I have lived in Paris, so I have plenty of things to do, and I actually do like to be here. And my husband, he's never been here before, so obviously he's excited about all of the sites and everything. But we've also, well, not him, but I fell ill, so I'm actually sick, and I'm stuck in the bedroom in the hotel, which is not fun, not as much fun. And yeah, so I don't know, there's a lot of negative energy, but I don't want to say that. So let's say it's a lot of interesting energy, and let's see what things may come. You know, when there's so much going on in the background, and there's so much, let's say, need for renovation and change. Generally speaking, change does come, but it could come in very unexpected ways. So I'm just gonna, you know, be balanced and grounded as much as I can. But I do want to show you a few decks. So I was supposed to be back in Italy and filming with my, let's say, with different, my different gear. And I obviously I cannot do that because I'm still in Paris. And I just thought, okay, well, you know what? I will make do with whatever I got. So perhaps the light is not the right one, perhaps the setup is not the right one, but so be it. And there might be noises in the background, because if you've ever lived in Paris, you will know there's always someone renovating or rebuilding or destroying. So there's always noises in the background, and my voice, it is what it is. But I don't mind, because I'm so very happy, because I've got a few decks to show you, a few new decks. Some of them I'm really excited about. And I've also been able to, and I'm going to show you the footage, I've also been able to find a couple of really interesting spots where to find tarot and oracle decks in Paris in particular. Well, you will all know the FNAC, so that's the let's say the national bookstore. It's a chain of bookstores, and you can find them all around the country. In specific, in Paris, there's quite a few branches. I think there's probably around 7 or 8. My apologies, it could be even 20, but for what I could tell, you know, for what I could see in the area around where we are, there's actually 7 or 8. And I've been to a couple of them, but I have to say that the one that I visited has the highest amount, the most decks, as you can see also from the footage, is the one in Châtelet-Léal. So Léal is a shopping mall that is in Paris, obviously, pretty much in the center of Paris. So, although I have to say, if you know Paris, Paris is made up of concentric, like a spiral of suburbs, and they are numbered. So you don't really have a city center. I mean, I suppose you could identify that with the arrondissement, so the suburb number 1, but it's not really. And you keep on having, you know, to move from one suburb to another just to see the various sites. And Paris is very monumental, is very big. And obviously there is a fantastic subway system, really fantastic, I have to say, because you can really go pretty much anywhere, and it doesn't take you long, because there's trains every couple of minutes. There's a train, and even though they are quite packed, especially peak hours, it's actually generally quite easy to go around. So having said that, so I've been to the FNAC at the Châtelet-Léal, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's got all of these books, and it's amazing. The one thing that I have to say, though, is that because it's a very busy branch, they don't really have, let's say, an information point. So there is effectively no information points, although there are a few people working there that if you ask them, that they'll be nice about it and they'll help you out. But they do have some kind of stations where they have a computer that gives you access to their stock. The unfortunate thing is that when you're looking for something and it says that it's in stock, finding it's a bit of a mess, as you have seen from the footage. everything is, and I don't mean to say that the personnel of the bookstore was a bit, messy, but the decks are in a mess simply because you have so many people coming by and having a look at them and perhaps even opening them, which is a bit no-no. There are open decks, demo decks for you to have a look at the cards, but there's a lot of people coming there, opening the decks and just re-putting them back in the wrong place. And if you go there at the end of the day, I can assure you 100% that you can know for a fact, thanks to the computer, that one deck is in stock, but you won't be able to find it if it's one of the decks that is not in a double copy, 3 copies, or 4 copies. It's becoming more and more difficult to find it in a mess, as you can imagine. Having said that, again, so very happy to have found a few gems in there. And another place that I highly recommend, because it was a fantastic, lovely experience, is the Librairie de l'Inconnu. And obviously I will put the addresses for both these places in the description box below. This is a fantastic metaphysical store, and it's really, not only you have so many decks, Oracle, Tarot, Lenormand, Keeper, but also Sibyl. But the lady there is absolutely lovely, and if you're looking for something in specific, she will help you. She will spend half an hour trying to find out, what it is that you're looking for. And whilst I was there, I have to say I stayed there for about an hour because I was really looking at all of the decks. Again, not her fault, but they're not divided by category. So obviously you really have to look at all of them in order to be able to find what you're looking for. Again, because there's so many people coming by, and they're just, sometimes it just so happens you're so excited about what you're seeing that you just make a mess out of them. But it's absolutely fantastic, and I'm so very happy to have been there as well, because there is a little bit of a surprise here as well. But without much further ado, let's dig into all of the decks that I was able to find in Paris. So I'm just going to start with this one. And by the way, I'm so sorry about all of the shadows here and there. As I said, I don't have my gear. So I'm just, improvising, and we're loving improvisation. So that's okay. So this one is the one I want to start with because it usually doesn't come in a pouch, but she was so nice and she gave me one because it was actually already open. It was one of the demo decks. And unfortunately, she was sold out of all of the other, still wrapped decks. And so she said, well, I can give you a discount and I'll give you this and this one. And you just have to make sure that all of the cards are there. So I was there and counting them, and they're all there. So I'm quite happy because I was really looking for this one. You will know this deck. Let me just zoom in, and that will, probably give you a bit more of an idea. So I'm very excited about this one. This is the Les Oracles de la Sorcière, and it's originally an Italian deck by Fabio Nocentini and Massimo Alfaioli. You know this deck because I've shown this deck in my channel a few times already, and in Italian it's called Lo Scrigno degli Oracoli. It's composed out of 3 decks. One is the deck of the witches, one is the deck of the gods and goddesses, and one is the deck of the cats. But this one has been reprinted by Grimaud in France, and it's actually standard tarot size, which is amazing. The other deck, Lo Scrigno degli Oracoli, so the Italian version, is huge. I don't have it with me. It's a huge deck. I cannot shuffle it no matter what. Overhand shuffle, yes, I know, but not even vertically. It's just really impossible to shuffle. You have to, do the small stacks, and that's the only way. However, this one, and that's the reason why I was looking for it, is actually standard size. And I'm so very happy that I found it. It was the last copy. I think you can still find it on Amazon France, but I'm not entirely sure. In any case, because I'm overseas and I don't have, I don't always have really good Wi-Fi, there is some chances that I won't be able to provide you with a link to buy it. But as soon as I get back home in Australia, then I'll make sure to get back to these videos and add the links where I could not provide them to you. So as I was saying, the cards are divided in 3 groups, 3 decks. So you have the oracles of the gods and goddesses, the oracle of the witches, and the Oracle of the Cat. And then you got a few, as you can see, a few spreads, which is really nice. Now, this, to be honest with you, is a bit less of an information that you were able to find in the guidebook of the Italian version, which was rather chunky, if I may say. But you know what? It's okay. I mean, I'm going to keep both the decks. Let's see if I can put the cards in such a way that they don't catch the light. So this is an amazing deck. I really love it. The art style is fantastic. The colors are amazing. And the concept, they're actually very, very interesting. So you can use these 3 decks together. You can just, you know, shuffle them together and then do a pull, or you can use them dividing them. And it's very easy to divide them. Once you've shuffled them, it's very easy to divide them back, because as you can see, the backs are different. And you can just do that. And it's amazing. I love it. It's a straight shooter. It's something that you can pair up with a number of other decks, Oracle decks, but also Tarot decks. And I'm thinking about a couple, but I don't have them with me. So I'm just, all of this, this video today, it's an unboxing, merely an unboxing, because as you can imagine, I have a few decks and I don't have time to just, you know, go a little bit deeper than just the unboxing. Look at this. I love the all of the Oracle of Cats on this deck. Is just absolutely amazing. And these are actual cats, as in, let me explain because it sounds weird. Okay, what I mean with actual cats is like there's so many cat tarot decks or cat oracle decks, but somehow the creators managed to make the cats look like human, whether because they're dressed like humans. It's let's say they're not always depicted as cats, but these ones, not only are they depicted as cats, but they're actually being cats. You know, they're actually, oh, look at them. So I really, really enjoy this deck. But let's have a look and let's go quicker, because I do have a few decks that I want to show you today, and I'm just worried that the light is going to go off, because it's on top of everything. It's a terrible, terrible weather. And also my voice may probably go off before the light does. Let's see. Okay, so the next deck is this one, L'Oracle NSW. Now, this has been illustrated by Laura Stone Art. And I know nothing about this deck, I have to be honest with you guys, but I saw it, I flipped it, I looked at the cards in the back, and I really loved it. And it does have a bit of an air of Lenormand, but it's not. It's 44 cards, so, you know, I'm happy with that. There's a book with 216 pages, so even more happy with that. And so I really thought, you know, it's very affordable. It's a mass market deck. Why not? And everyone was actually looking at it when I was there. There was a lot of people looking at this deck. Not that there's a lot of people window shopping, but in any case, I did think that a couple of them actually ended up by buying it. So I'm just going to open it up and then I will get back on camera. Okay, so here we go. So it's a nice wraparound with box with a magnetic closure. And then we've got the 216 pages book. And it looks very nice. So we've got the cards here. Obviously, we got the small thumbprint of the card. And okay, now that's interesting, because there's a question here by title. Suis-je en prison ou libre? Am I in prison or am I free? Auto-destruction, prison, and limiting beliefs, which is very interesting. So, and then you've got the message, and I can't wait to use this. And then you've got the message when you read it, for example, for very specific purposes. So it could be for the job, for your career, job, let's say, and for relationships or sentimental, and also for spiritual reasons. And then we've got a mantra at the end, which is very interesting as well. Very, very fascinating. Very tempted to start using it today, to be honest with you. Whenever I find a deck that is different from still a divination deck, but it's different from an oracle deck and a tarot deck, I always want to learn how to use it, because, you know, it's something new, so obviously, and it's a very beautiful deck. I have to say the production value is excellent. You've got this really beautiful blue for the gilding, but it doesn't stick, so as you can see it's not sticking, which is, you know, always a good thing. And as I said, it's in black and white, but it's a very nice kind of setup. It's a very beautiful art style. Very appreciative of this, I have to say. Even the cardstock is very sturdy, it feels durable. So it's a really beautiful deck, and I've got a lot of tarot decks in black and white that could pair up really well with this one, but I'm not entirely sure that it's one of those decks that you actually need to pair up with a tarot in order to be able to, you know, work with it, because it's not necessarily it doesn't really have a keyword, let's say just one keyword or one title. It does have a bit of a message or a sentence at the bottom. And so I believe that in this case, it may actually be best not to use it in combination with the tarot deck by itself. The images are just amazing. I really, really love them. Absolutely happy that I found this deck. Look at this turtle. So turtle stands for connection. Absolutely. I strongly believe that. Really nice of it. Obviously, it's the Oracle of the Abyss. So you will see all of the cards are in the theme. So we're looking at stuff that is probably at the bottom of the sea or inhabits the sea anyway. Let's see what else I've got. So another deck I was very excited about, and let me just zoom out a little bit because it's got a bigger kind of box, is this one. So the Orac Magik Medium. So this is actually, originally it was an English indie deck. So it's an Oracle deck, obviously. I think it was called the same, so Oracle of Magicians and Mediums or something like that. I did not buy the English version because it had some really wide white borders and I really did not like them. But then Arcana Sacra took over and they released the mass market version, and this one so I only have a look at it, you know, online, and also at the back of the box, and it doesn't look, at least that is like it's got you know, the ugly borders. So let's open it up and see. Okay, so another really nice wraparound box with a magnetic closure, and we've got a few images here which are really nice. So I forgot to say it's by Aniel Reed and Alicia Mathieu and Fronezes. My apologies if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. I do think that the authors the creators are French, so that could be why Arcana Sacra was actually given the possibility to produce it, to release it mass market. Really nice book, I have to say. I have no idea how the English version looks like. I have no idea, apart from the borders. I have no idea how the book of the English version, you know, how it looked like. It's just one of those things. I just saw it. I was just so very happy that I found this because I really, really like it, and I can confirm now. It comes with a pouch, nice as well. So I can confirm now by seeing the first cards that, and let me just zoom in, that it does not have any borders at all, which is something I was really anxious about. If you have the English indie version, you will know what I mean. So I will keep the cards in such a way that they don't catch the light. It is absolutely amazing. My goodness, look how beautiful this is. This will go really well with the Soul Mirror Oracle because it does seem to have more or less the same color palette. The art style is slightly different, but it's not that dissimilar. And I'll tell you what, this is amazing. The cardstock is fantastic. I know that in many, many cases, Arcana Sacra has actually come through with a fantastic production value. All of the decks that they have been, you know, reproducing mass market that were originally indie have actually been outstanding. I am really, really happy that I'm in France and I can actually get access to these decks. In some cases, you can still have access to Arcana Sacra publication through Amazon France, but not all of them. And in many, many cases, they actually don't ship overseas. So it could be a problem to get access to this deck. I don't know. However, it might be just as easy as to find any other deck. Absolutely gorgeous deck. I can't wait to use it. It really, really beautiful. And I'm so very happy because I go back and forth when it comes to borders, because in some cases I actually do like them and appreciate them, but I have to say that in many cases when they're actually so big that they look like a feature of the card, then they need to have a reason to be there. If it's just a small white border or black border or whatever it is, it's fine, but when they're rather wide, they do occupy a lot of space in the real estate of the card, so I don't always like them. Anyway, this is the Orac Magik Medium. And another deck I'm so very happy that I found is the Carte Divinatoire d'Agaïel. This deck is actually out of print, I believe, although I heard news that it was going to be reprinted. And to be honest with you, I don't know whether this edition is already the one that has been reprinted or is still one of the old ones. So I bought it at the Librairie de l'Inconnu that I was talking about earlier, and they still had a couple of copies in stock. However, they didn't have any at the, let's say, the bookstore, the chain bookstore. So I don't know whether that's a sign that perhaps the ones that were in stock at the bookstore, the smaller bookstore, were, remaining stock or not. I don't know. I didn't really have time to have a conversation. Normally, I do a bit of an interview to the people, I meet in... when I do my tarot on tour. Unfortunately, this lady in that shop was so busy. She was literally just every 3 seconds there was someone coming in and asking for questions and asking for decks and something else and books, etc. And we even started talking, but to be honest with you, she was really, and I understand, of course, she has to to attend to her customers, so absolutely. I might go back. I don't even know how long I'm going to stay here, because it really all depends on the flight back. And we'll see. If I have time, I will definitely ask about this deck and other decks. And because I'm really interested to know, because I know that France has got a fantastic tradition when it comes to oracle decks, but obviously also tarot decks. I mean, Marseille, obviously. And there's a lot of return to the spirituality, I have to say. So I noticed that not just by the fact that everyone goes into a bookstore and they go to the spirituality aisle of the bookstore, but they do ask for books. They do the research at home and they know what they want, and they go to the bookstore and they ask for something specific, so that means to me that there's a lot of interest for that. That wasn't necessarily the case a few years ago, and I do believe that there is a common theme in all of my Tarot on Tour videos. Whenever I do get to speak to people selling tarot decks, but also reading tarot, they always say that it was because of the pandemic. And basically, the pandemic has been so terrible on a spiritual level for everyone, that people really need, that they have to gain back control over their lives. And they cannot do that because obviously there's a financial crisis going on, there's a war going on, there's so many really impactful things going on in the world right now. And the one thing that you can control, if you cannot control all of those things, you can control your mind, you can control your soul and the well-being of your soul. And so there's a lot of people asking for that kind of connection, in order to be able to feel like at least they're doing something to feel better about themselves. So very excited about this deck. It doesn't have any keywords, which is generally a bit of a deal breaker for me, but I have to say I'm quite happy because the book is actually very clear. So it does show you, a couple of keywords for each and every card. And on top of everything, I have to say, for those of you who don't speak French, there's also the English version of the book. So if you're looking for this deck and you find it, you can buy it, because even this is not necessarily a French version, because it doesn't even have anything on the card. And when it comes to the book, it's got English at the back of the guidebook. So that's very handy. And the next deck I'm really happy to talk about is the Tarot of Pop Culture by Bérengère de Moncy. And this is also a French deck. It's by Hachette. And I'm so very happy that I found this deck, because I had a look at it when it was published a few months ago on Amazon France, and I really wanted to get it, but then I was really worried because sometimes these decks are actually peepish. But when I was at the bookstore, there was an open copy and I had a possibility to have a look. And I found that, yes, indeed, it is peepish, but the pips are actually very spot on. And, you know, they're actually very nice as well. So I'm just going to show you because it's very difficult to explain. Okay, so let's have a look. So it also opens up like a book. Very nice, very interesting. We've got really huge cards, I have to say. So we got the guidebook, which is very nice. It's full color. You got the full page of the card, and then we've got the title. Then obviously we've got the reference to the card, so the image on the card. In this case, the lemma is the fool, and it's referring back to Zelda, the Legend of Zelda. Then we got a few keywords for the upright and the reverse meaning. And then we've got a bit of an explanation of the, let's say, I see here, it's just related to the Fool. It's not related to Zelda. Let me just see, scrolling quickly, looking quickly, not really. Yeah, it's a bit of a pity because they could have probably gone a bit deeper on that, but we do know our pop culture, obviously. Hopefully we will get all of the references. I can see the DeLorean already for the Chariot, which is fantastic as a choice. And Sailor Moon, of course, because it's the Moon card. But then, as I was saying, so we do have pips when it comes to the minors, but we'll see later that they actually also have a pop culture reference. And so that's, I really like that. It's very nice. So let's have a look at the deck. Okay, so nice box, by the way. Hopefully this one doesn't get damaged. It's one of those ones that is, you know, it doesn't have anything. It's empty at the back. So this one, if the deck moves a little bit, it's going to get damaged. So I need to be careful when I store it to fly back, whenever that will be. And it's gilded. It's a nice gilding. It's one of those silver, almost sparkling kind of gilding that it's very nice. It will probably lose a bit of a glitter. And there you go, of course. It looks like I've got glitter all over my fingers, but it's absolutely fine. And I actually like it. So let's see. So we've got, so we still have the names on the cards as well, which is very interesting. And I suppose it makes it easier. So we've got a Hermione Granger, for example, for the High Priestess, which is very good, I have to say. Sarah Connor, really? Oh my goodness, we go that long back in time in references in pop culture. See, that's why I knew I needed this deck, because it is so amazing that people are still talking about Sarah Connor. I really like that. Aragorn, of course. Gandalf, well, of course. So the card, unfortunately, the cards do seem to stick together a little bit. But anyway, that's no big deal. We just have to separate them. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that. Lady Oscar, is that Lady Oscar? And Andre. I can't believe that. It's, oh, if you don't know this, it was an animated TV show from when I was little, but I'm seriously, I'm thinking, wow, okay, amazing. Thank you for that, because we all fell in love with Lady Oscar. And when we called her Lady Oscar in the Italian version of the animated TV show, but I'm not entirely sure that was the original title. She was a girl, she was born a girl, but she wanted to fight, and she was raised as a boy. Oh, that was so amazing. I really loved it. Daenerys, of course, for the Justice card. And then, oh, I don't know this one. Who's this one? Jonas Kakenwald. See, I'm also interested because this will give me the inspiration to actually find out what these characters are. Of course, we got Buffy for strength, John Preston. So oh, John Wick. Yes, we got John Wick. I can't believe it. We have John Wick for death. I always said that I wanted a John Wick deck because John Wick is the Baba Yaga. I mean, hello. Paula Traders. Oh, I am going. Oh, Beetlejuice, hello for the devil. That's amazing. Eric Draven, you know, I heard that they're going to release this year a new version of The Crow, and there's a lot of people saying that it should not have been touched because it's, you know, it's just so iconic. But Sailor Moon, of course, and Ra. So there are not here Harry Potter, of course. If we go Hermione Granger, you would assume safely Neo. Hi, Neo. I'm so happy that Keanu Reeves is there twice. So these are the pips. Okay, so let's have a look at one that is rather Roronoa Zoro. So let's have a look. Ah, of course, the umbrellas. So this is the 4 of épée is swords. So the reference is actually to the Kingsman, and if you watch the movies or the franchise, you will remember that their umbrellas are actually bulletproof. So that's pretty cool. Proton pack, of course. Yeah, okay, I love it. Oh, Edward Scissorhand. Oh, look at that. I love the references. They're so, at least for the suit of swords, that's the one that but they're so well made. I am actually really happy about this. It's, yeah, it's well made. It's absolutely well made. And then obviously we get to the court card, and that's interesting as well. So Miss Lemon, I will have to check that out because I'm not entirely sure. Ariadne, Oliver, and then we got Hercule Poirot, of course. Well, yeah, of course, because he's the King of Swords, absolutely the expert. And then we've got the Cavalier is the Knight, obviously the Knight of Swords after the King, which is a bit odd, but it does correspond to a few divination systems. So then we go to the Cups, the Matrix. Oh my goodness, amazing. Yes, absolutely. Oh, I love the references. They're really well made. Constantine, hello, they really like their Keanu Reeves in this in this deck, which is all good for me because I absolutely love him. Okay, so I'm really being very cautious about the cracking noises because, you know, it's really, the cards do tend to stick one to the other, and I'm really worried that I'm going to damage them. So I'm gonna be very careful, but I'm not gonna insist too much on separating them. But I just absolutely love these cards. They're so well made. The thoughts behind this deck, it's just absolutely fantastic. And you know, this is the way. Ah, look. Oh, this is the treasure, Willie. The Goonies, of course. Oh my goodness. What's the name of the pirate? I know the name in English and Italian. I forgot the. Sorry, I know the name in French and Italian, but I forgot. Willy something. Willy Lorbo in Italian, because he had a patch, an eye patch. But these are so well made. And of course, it's the 9th of Pentacles, because, you know, it does refer back to the meaning of the card. I really love it. It's perfect. And of course, Wednesday. Oh, we got the whole family, Adam's family, fair enough. And oh my goodness, you got the Ellipsiometer or Ellipsiometer. So this is from Lyra. She's the protagonist of His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman, one of my favorite trilogy of all times, I have to say. When I read it, I actually try and make my own Ellipsiometer, and I'm still working on it. I still see it in my future. And Jumanji. Oh my goodness, Jumanji. Oh, I love this deck. I feel like I need to do a deep dive on this deck. Oh my goodness, Total Recall. How amazing is this? I mean, if you're my age, you will know all of these references. If you're not, please watch these movies because they're absolutely fantastic. Really, really fantastic. Absolutely in love. Really obsessed by this deck. I'm so happy that I got it. And it was so very affordable, and I'm pretty sure in this case you can get it from Amazon France. You can actually get it shipped pretty much everywhere. Unfortunately, you will have to pay for shipping. But this is a fantastic deck. I have no idea whether they're going to publish it in English or not. So happy about this deck. And we've got 2 more, so let's have a look. So the last mass market, because the next one is an indie, is this one, is the Oracle du Soleil Levant, the Oracle of the Rising Sun by Thierry Chaujean and Jenny Amasaki. I actually don't know. Thierry is definitely a French name, but I don't know whether the authors are French. Sorry if I mispronounced them. I thought they were, so that's why I pronounced it the French way. But it could be completely something different. So it has been published by Arcana Sacra, and to my knowledge, there is no other publication. It wasn't originally an indie deck. Let's have a look. Okay, so again, really nice wraparound box with a magnetic closure, and we've got the Tsunami by Okozai. Okozai is one of my favorite artists from Japan. Hopefully there's more of you know, that style of work. So we got a really chunky book, for what I can see, in color. Feels very high production. We've got a lot for each and every card. So it's an oracle card, so obviously you've got the interpretation of the cards, you've got a few ways. So you've got the general interpretation, you've got when it comes to relationship, for example, when it comes to the job, your career, work environment, when it comes to financial environment. It gives you also the keywords. It gives you an interpretation for when you pull it reversed, even though I don't think there's a lot of people that use oracle decks in reverse, but that's fine. If you do, you do also have the keywords for that. And then we've got the personality, I would say, the personage. So resilience. So these are all the identifications that you can apply to recognize if someone is indeed corresponding to the card or not. I think it may be translated as the archetype. So this was the Phoenix. And what else have we got? Yeah, we got all of the cards, obviously. I was looking for perhaps a couple of spreads. Yeah, okay, tirage, obviously we have a couple of spreads as well, which is going to be very nice. I can see myself spending hours and hours and hours on this deck and going back and forth with the book as well. Very beautiful production, I have to say. This one, you can actually remove it. I'm not going to show you because I don't want to break anything, but if you can notice here, it shows that at the bottom there is another image, so you can actually remove this part. But let's have a look at the deck. So this one is not gilded, but to be honest with you, it's actually even better this way for me. So again, let's zoom in and let's see if I can avoid all of the lights. So very brilliant colors, I have to say, very saturated. These are the backs, by the way. How beautiful are they? And obviously they are reversible. So there is, and I can tell you everywhere, it's, I will call it Nippon mania or Japan mania. I just find Paris has got so many Asian restaurants, whether they're Chinese or Japanese or Korean. Obviously, they used to have Vietnamese restaurants because of the colonies, but they still have a few of those. But there is an actual booming of Japanese restaurants. There's a booming of interest for Japan. And it's always been there in Paris because if you go to the d'Orsay, for example, which is a museum here in Paris, and you visit the 5th floor where you have all of the artists that were actually living in Montmartre here in Paris. And they were really fascinated by Asia. In any case, they were really fascinated by the influences of Japan in the artistic expressions of European artists. And it's very visible. It's very clear. Immediately, we will see that everywhere. And it's practically something that is always reminding us of the very interesting side of Japanese culture. And with my Starlight and my Sunlight members in my membership, we're actually doing a deep dive of the Yokai Yochi Tarot, and we're literally going down the rabbit hole and exploring all the aspects of the Japan supernatural related to culture and you know, and expressions that may take the form of tarot decks and oracle decks. For example, we're looking at all of those, but also manga or anime, for example, so movies and TV shows, but also literature and artistic expressions. And it's very nice because it really is something that is a very interesting exercise, and it brings people together. But it's also a way to, if you love Japan, obviously you want to know more about it. You want to know more about the Japanese culture. You want to know more about the expression of this culture. And so, you know, doing it together in a group, I find it's the best way, because when someone is losing motivation, someone else will be there helping out, and so on and so forth. This is a really beautiful deck. I have to say though, it doesn't, so to me, obviously we have titles that correspond to the cards, and that's not necessarily telling me much, but again, we see a yokai because kitsune, you know, in this case is a yokai, so it's really cool. So I'm really looking forward to read the book. That's what I wanted to say, because this is a good luck charm. We've seen that in the yokai yochi as well. So I see a lot of these actually recurring in many of the decks that I've got for the Japan Supernatural membership perks. So in any case, this is the Oracle of the Rising Sun, and the next deck is actually an indie deck. Let's have a look. Okay, so this is it. This is the Octopus Tarot. This is the French version. I have to say, it was a very nice story, because the lady from the bookstore, La Librairie de l'Inconnu, actually told me that the creator Luna is actually a friend, and so she was like, you have to get this deck, and she was really pushing for it, and she didn't need to, because I would have bought it anyway. It was such an interesting price, and I have seen this deck, or at least the English version, around, and I'm so very excited about it. So obviously, you know, when it comes to these kind of things, it's always even better when you know someone, when, you know, the creator could be a friend, because obviously there's that kind of meaningful connection that you can establish with the deck itself. But let's have a look. Okay, so it's a drawer kind of box, so you can remove it from the bottom. And by the way, I apologize profusely about the noises in the background. It's getting even worse, and I have to say, this is the last deck. I'm sweating because I think I have a bit of fever, and my voice is almost gone. But I'm so very happy to have been able to present these decks to you. But I have to say, it's been a nightmare. It's been an absolute nightmare because of the noises in the background. But then again, it is what it is. Again, obviously, they're doing their job. So, you know, it's obviously what they have to do. So this is the Octopus Tarot. Now, it comes with a guidebook, which is very interesting, I may say. But I will have to look more in detail, because, well, this is the Lover's card, for example, and we've got the zoological associations as well. But we also have, and obviously we got the dates corresponding to that, but we also have a keyword, which in case is yes. And now we've got a few keywords when it comes to the upright meaning and the reverse meaning. And then it talks about, you know, the Lover's card in general. And then it does look at the very specific theme of the deck, which is indeed the octopuses. So it might be very interesting. I'm just looking through the minor arcanas. So that association is not always there. But it's fine. So it looks like there's also a bit of an explanation before each and every suit, which is, you know, it's always helpful. So I will have to look more in detail at this guidebook. But this is, of course, I have to remove it from the wrap as well. Okay, so as you can see, if I hold the card like that, there's a really nice silver foil on the cards, and it's got this holographic silver edging, very beautiful, I have to say, very high quality. The cards are glossy, so they will catch the light, so my apologies for that. I'll try my best to avoid that, but it seems like it's not possible. So it's strange because it's not in order. So we started from the World card, and then we have the Wheel of Fortune, and then we have the Tower, and so on. But it's fine. I will put it back in order, and I just need to go through the guidebook because there might actually be a reason why they started from the World card. It is very beautiful. Obviously, if you like the theme, you will like the deck. If you don't like the theme, if you, you know, I've met all sorts of people in my life, and obviously not everyone thinks that octopuses are interesting. I have to say the gilding, no, the foil is actually holographic as well, although I don't seem to be able to show you, or maybe a little bit like that, which is very nice. So obviously there's a lot of octopi. Octopi is the plural of octopus. And if you don't like them, then this deck is not for you. If you, on the other hand, like this art style, I have to say it's absolutely fantastic. These are clearly pencil drawing, charcoal probably as well. I'm not an expert, so sorry if I'm saying something completely wrong. It's in black and white with these foil, which makes the card really, really beautiful. And I have to say, it's a very interesting interpretation. So it's all over the place. We got, you know, Pentacles, and then we got the Ten of Swords, and then we got the Six of Swords. So I will definitely have to put it back together because I do have a little bit of OCD, and, you know, stuff that is not in order is actually making me a bit uncomfortable. But it's also a bonding experience. I find that whenever I put a deck back in order after I've been shuffling and using it, it's actually very nice to be able to connect with it. And I will have the time to actually look properly at the cards, which is always nice. Really amazing, this deck, I have to say. There was a TV show, I think it was called, or even a movie from a couple of years ago, and it was talking about my octopus teacher. I think it was called My Octopus Teacher. I haven't watched it, or at least not yet, but I do remember a few things about octopi, and they're absolutely fascinating creatures. You know, oh, okay, le VO univers. Okay, I will have to check what that is. But, oh, okay, le vous univers. It's okay. This is, because it's a mirror, it's actually referring back to me. So yeah, absolutely. Fantastic deck. Really, really happy to have it, and happy to have found it in that bookstore. It was a fantastic price. So, you know, I was really, really happy to oblige, because the lady was really enthusiastic about it, and I was like, yeah, absolutely, yeah, I'll buy it. You don't have to convince me because I'm already sold. So thank you again for staying with me till the end of this video. Again, so sorry about the noises in the background, and it's been a nightmare, to be honest with you. I had to stop and start so many times, but then again, I really wanted to show you all these decks, and I don't even know when I'm going to be able to get out and when I'm going to be able to fly back to Italy. We'll see. Stay tuned.